It is now being recorded. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Super. Some people call me Jamal. Some people call me Sannin. Some people call me that dude. Whatever you call me, I'm here to help. And one of the ways I think I can help today is just showing people how I go about creating my watch list. So, first and foremost, all the tools that I use right now are the autostratic radar. And so if I can begin showing my screen so you can see what I see. And then if you can just give me a 1 in the chat if you can actually see what I see on the screen. Cool. So what I do is so I've been trading for quite some time, and what I do is I kind of keep track of all of the bangers and the hitters and the stocks that I like, and so I put them on a master watch list that you can see. I'll quickly bring it up. But this is kind of my master watch list. This is my starting 5 plus my 6 man. I think I posted this watch list earlier today, if not yesterday. And then I have a bunch of substitutes, my bench, and then free agents, and then other stocks that's on the back burner. So these are all stocks. This whole list of stocks is stocks that I've either played or won money from, or both in the past. And so this is my just kind of like my go-to stocks. My go-to stocks is what I guess you can call them. I call them my paid money stocks, or my Sannin solution stocks. Yes, this is being recorded. And so what I have done is I've also made another video on how to basically set up your chart to look like this. But basically you just put the indicator, the autostratic indicator is what I'm referring to. You just put multiple instances of that on your chart, and then you just use the settings to space them out so that they don't overlap each other. And that way you can have more than 40 stocks that you're analyzing, because as you can see, my watch list is over 40 stocks. And so once I have that all laid out like it is, looking nice and neat like it is right here, I'm looking for stocks that have actionable signals on the day as well as the week. And so just by eyeballing this, I kind of just run down the list and basically see what I see coming up twice. So this particular indicator right here on the top left is the day. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's the time frame is the day. This is also the day. So this is the first 40, and this is the second 40 of the day. And then down here is the first 40 of the week and the second 40 of the week. So it's just basically, this is the first 40 and this is the bottom, and it's 80 total. And so I'm just using multiple indicators to tell me what's going on the day, and then duplicating those to tell me what's going on the week. So basically this one is just a copy. This weekly is just a copy of this one that I just changed, went into the settings and changed the time frame. So once you have your stuff set up on the day, you can just copy those, copy them, and I can just demonstrate it now. You copy, you paste it, and it's pasted right on top of there. So you double click it, you move it around. So let's just move it to the bottom left just so you can see. So that's a copy of that, but then you just change the time frame, so now it's looking at all the stuff on a different time frame. And so that's why these two are the same. Any questions on that? If you do have further questions on how to set this all up, I've already created a video that should be in the tips and tricks on how to set up the radar, on how I would go about setting that up. Everybody good so far? Everybody on the same page? We all good? Any questions so far? How do you get the dark screen? You mean my background here? You just right click on anywhere on the chart and you can change the settings, and that particular setting is the background. So you can change your background from the white to dark. So that's how you do that. Is that clear, Reefa? You just right click on the background and you go down to settings, and all of that stuff is found in there. The canvas tab, and you can mess around with the background right there. You can mess around with the grid lines, you can mess around with the crosshair, you can change your colors of your candlesticks, all that good stuff. And then when you have it like you like it, you can save it as a template by clicking template, save as, and then you can write in the name that you want to save it as. Alright, so getting back to the show, I like to look at stuff that has actionable signals on the day and the week. And so this is a little time consuming, but you're just basically looking for what appears on both of these indicators, or both the top row and the bottom row. So right off the bat, let's just go ahead and we can use this text tool here. If you go over to the left, if you don't already have it saved to your favorites, it should be over here in the text and notes. Use this text. I'm just going to write on the screen the ones that do have actionable signals on the week and the day, so I can keep track. And so we can just go ahead and say weekly and daily actionable. Okay. And so what I see is McDonald's. I see that on both of them. See if I can move that right there so it's not taking up any space. Give me 1 second. Let me grab this tea from off the stove. So like I said, I see McDonald's coming down. I see Disney on both of these. Disney. No Starbucks. No, I see Uber on both of these. Costco's. I see DraftKings. Nope. Tesla, nope. Affirm, no. TSM, no. Yep, TSM is there. Cat, no. Shop, yes. Google, no. John Deere, no. UNH, no. Palantir, no. Carvana, no. WBD, no. Unity, no. EA Sports, no. Netflix, chill, no. MU, no. On Semiconductors. You see Cat on there? Where you see Cat? Cat? Where's Cat at? Cat is not on it. Cat is over here, but it's not over. That's 2 of the days. Cat. Let's see. You messed me up. You messing me up. I'm just joking. So on Nvidia is not on there. Roku, yeah. And if you looking at the screen, so y'all look at this one over here and compare it to this one over here, and type it in the chat if you see it on there 2 times. So while I'm going through this one, you can go through this one and this one, compare both of those, and then just type it in the chat if you see it. But Nvidia, no. Roku, no. Enphase, Rivian, no. Alright, so the next one we see JBL, Jabil, Williams and Sonoma, yes. GD, a lot of these on there. General Dynamics, Ross, Celsius, M, Triple M, 3M, Texas Instruments, AMAT, all of these on there. SMH, yes. QCOM, yes. So SMH is basically all of the chips, so that would include QCOM, TSM, or Ecclesias, yes. We got a lot of stuff. TSM, again, I think I already put that one on there. Yeah. Shop, yep. PayPal, no. On is already on there. INTC, no. It Takes Two, baby. Alright, so yeah. So we got all of these here. These have signals on the day and the weekly. And so what I do, because we have, quite a roster here, I want stuff that I can afford, and that has like volume at least. So now that I have this list, I'm gonna go ahead and go over to TOS. Think of Swim. So we pull up this, and then we kind of just go through like we're looking for contracts on those. So if you go to the trade tab, and then we can just start typing in those. And what I like to look at is, I guess, we can look at some 0 days, and we can look at 2 weeks out. So maybe at least a week out. We got these right here. Those will be a week. And then we got those will be at least 2 weeks. So let's just go here and here. So the daily, so those will be 0 days tomorrow, and these will be a week tomorrow. So the December 22nd and the December 29th. Let's start on the December 29th because they'll be more expensive because you're buying time. And so the first up to bat was McDonald's. You just type that in there, see what the contracts is looking like before you even chart this beast. So close to the money, you got $2 almost. The last one went for almost $2. A little bit out of the money. less than $1. And so to get even more scientific, what I also like to do is use a little feature on my indicator that I'm working on, that'll kind of tell me the ATR for the week and the day. Oh, it's over here. So let's pull this back over. And just for example, so we have Amazon. And so this is my indicator here. I go to the settings and I want my ATR calculations for the day, and then the other one I want for the week. And so what that's going to show me is this green and the red one represents the day, and then the blue and the purple represents the week. So if we zoom out, we can see, okay, now we see those levels there. This is for the week. This could potentially move up to 161. We're actually looking at the wrong stock. So let's just go and look at McDonald's. And so the first stop, the ATR 1 is the day, and the ATR 2 is the week. And so to even get more specific, because sometimes that is a little bit too far out of range, for the day, let's set it to the actual 4 hours. Let's set it to 4 hours instead of the day, just to get a tighter grasp on what price action can do. And so now I have those figures to go back and say, okay, now if I'm looking at something, contracts for the week, then I'm not going to go further than $300 on McDonald's for calls. If I'm looking at puts, I'm not going to go further out than 282. So for calls, I want 300 or less. For puts, I want 282 or more, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? No. This is just in general. It's not necessarily for lottos. I don't like to treat this like gambling. So this is all strategic. So if these have actionable signals on the day and the week, then most likely they have a higher probability of hitting. But I guess you mean lottos by just because they have 0 days. I think that's what you're referring to. Half man, half amazing. Yeah. So this first step here, the ATR 1, will be for your 0 days, potentially reaching those price targets, and then the ATR 2 will be for your next week's. So if we go back to Thinkorswim with those levels now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up on my other screen so I can have it to reference, and then pull the TOS over here. So we're referencing, for example, 293 for tomorrow. So that would be like this contract here for calls, and then we're referencing 288 tomorrow potentially for puts, so that would be like this contract here. And then potentially, maybe one step above, because I did change it to the 4 hour instead of the hour, so you can have a little bit of leeway, maybe either or these contracts, and then just making sure they have a significant amount of volume for you to get in and get out, which is pretty good. I mean, it's not the best, but you should be able to get in and out of the contracts. Same thing on this side, either this one or this one, and then the volume is significant for you to get in and out. The Greeks look nice, but say, I just keep that in mind. Okay, McDonald's seems like it's a good one. So what I can go back and do is just put like a little notation in the list. Okay, McDonald's, maybe I'll look at those. Maybe I'll watch McDonald's. Same thing. And so I'll go through and do the same thing with all of them. Disney, $93 and $91. come back over here, look through Disney. 93 is here. That's about 78 cents. Lots of good volume. Greeks look good. 37 to an 8. What was the other figure? Was 87. So we're looking over here. 87 is only 10 cents. So let's see if we can go even further, closer. This right here for puts is probably around the same price as that one. It's 91. You get even closer to the money. So those levels give you just a starting point, and then your account risk can dictate the rest. Is that understandable what I'm doing? I'm using these levels as a starting point for where I can get contracts, and then once I see what those contracts look like at those levels, okay, at 88 it's only 13 cents. I can afford multiples of those, or I can get multiples of these, which are closer to the money and have better Greeks. And so that's the second step. So the first step was getting those together. The second step is analyzing the contract prices versus the ATR and what's feasible to actually happen. So Disney would be another one that actually looks pretty good. And just for rounding out the example, I don't want to take too much time actually going through each and every ticker doing that. And so let's just say, for example, I found that Disney looks good. This is just an example. As you can see, I only went through McDonald's and Disney. But let's say I did go through all of those, that process of going through all of those with this. So let's just, for example, say I saw that Shop looks good. I saw that Oracle looks good. I want to say that SMH looks good. That's part of SMH. Let's say that we saw that Shop look good as far as the contracts, and Uber. So now I have all of those that I'm specifically looking at because they have actionable signals on the daily and they have affordable contracts. Okay. And so now once I have that list, now I can go and actually chart and see what's going on as far as the price action on those tickers that I've selected. Once I went through each one of these, comparing the contracts with the ATR, and gathered these eyeball lists, now I can go and check all of the stocks with the eyeballs and check out their charts. So for example, if we just look at let's say Shop, and so now I can just go about doing my technical analysis. That indicator is yes, it's available via the Sannin Clouds beta. Sannin Clouds, Cross Clouds Plus Ultra beta. You can go to my website. That'll be the easiest way. If you go to the website and then just search for the link. And then all it'll ask you is just to put in your email and your TradingView screen name so that I can get you access to that. So that's in the beta, and it's basically going to be free up until next year. And then once I work out all the kinks and see what people like and what they don't like, I'll probably try to just offer that along with some other indicators. Along with some other tools, my risk calculator and positioning calculator, as well as the Sannin Cross Clouds indicator and the 52-week highs and lows indicator. So it'll be basically indicators that you can use for TOS that'll show you stocks that are close to 52-week highs or 52-week lows. And then there'll be another indicator, a set of indicators that'll show you stocks that have golden crosses or death crosses on customizable EMAs. So as you can see, this yellow cloud is a golden cross and the red cloud is a death cross. And as you can see, it's a good indication of trend changes. And as you can see right here on Shopify, we have a recent golden cross back to the upside. So this could potentially try to tackle these highs here if this golden cross and this uptrend is strong. So let's just clear the screen right quickly. And so I'll just go through one or two of these just to show you how we'll go about charting and setting levels. So what I like already is that Shopify looks to be trying to bounce with a golden cross uptrend on the monthly here from a 52-week low, which can act as support. So that already is a positive signal. And then if we go down to the week, there's our actionable signal with the shooter. And then what we also see is that it's shooting off of a 52-week high, which is interesting. So we want to be careful at this area that it's in right now. Let's see if it can actually break and hold above that 52-week high for right now. If it wants to maintain the bullish. So this is a trick for it to do in order to get my attention for calls. But that shooter is indication of a upper price rejection. So in a perfect world, it would shoot from the top like it's doing and potentially keep going down. But we also note that this is in an uptrend and the time frames are extremely bullish from the week to the year, which are the stronger time frames. And then as you can see, the auto strat is also giving us an entry specifically for puts at 75.15. So we can go ahead and mark that level also. And then marking this level here for calls. And things are kind of mushed up over there, so what I'm going to do is just do a little bit of editing so you can see the things that I just put on there. So this is my attention getting levels for bullish and bearish action as seen on the week. So now we drop down again to the day and we see the day has an inside candle and it's offering us an even tighter or closer range of price action. And so we can say, okay, this is the first attention getting level, and then the next one's down and up can be the second attention getting levels. So as we open up tomorrow, as price goes in whichever way, these will be my attention getting levels. So it has to do tricks or has to qualify before it can join the team or for it to potentially get my money. It first has to do some tricks before I give it a treat. And these would be the tricks that it will do or can possibly do. We have some other tricks that it can perform if we go down even further to the hour. So now on the hour, we also have the range rush reversal. So what this will happen, what will happen is that this stuff will start once the data in the day opens up and you get data. You'll have the range reversal start plotting the orb as well as the ATR. And so another trick that it can possibly do once it opens up is it can break through orb. So that'll be a trick. It could do a strat combination, preferably on one of the smaller time frames, because we won't have an hour's worth of time yet. So preferably on the 5 minute to 15 minute, doing some sort of strat combination, compare it with breaking orb and compare it with breaking one of these trick levels that we also set. So those could be confirming signals for you to go into an actual position once it does those tricks. So again, those are the tricks that I like to see, and I'll just type them up here. So I'm using a combination of the range reversal, the entry points set by the autostratic, as well as entry points that I've seen from the strat on those different time frames. And so let's just document that with some text. So these are the tricks. Ooh, excuse me, didn't mean to do that. I think we lost the whole screen just now, unfortunately, because I had the alright, so let's just go back to that. My apologies, we have to start all over again because I had the thing on there. So what were we looking at? I can't even remember what we were looking at just now. Was it shop? Okay. Okay, so this is everything back, I believe. Let's just go to the day to make sure. No. So it didn't save those levels. So let's do it again. And this time I will notate on the screen, the different tricks that it can do. So I'm going to throw my indicator on here again, the light version. Take some of the stuff off. My apologies again. We setting the ATR for the day and the week, just so we can have those back on there. Take off that little box down there because it's just using some screen time, taking off some stuff so the chart is not as cluttered. Changing the color of the Sannin clouds. I like it, the uptrend to be golden and the downtrend to be red. And then I don't like to actually show the EMA lines. And so that's how you get it like that. All right. Almost there. All right. So we saw on the month that it was bouncing from 52-week high and it's now at a 52-week. I'm sorry, it was bouncing from a 52-week low and is now at a 52-week high. We noticed that on the month. Then on the week, we noticed the first shooter actionable signal. We noticed the first actionable signal as it's shooting and rejecting price from the 52-week high. And so the first trick that it can do is it can break through the weekly levels. But before it can do that, it'll have to break through the daily levels. And then even maybe before it does that, or concurrently, it can break through those orb or perform a strat combination. So those were all of the triggers or the potential tricks. And so we can go about marking those again, breaking above the 52-week high here, or breaking below the low of the shooter there. And then I just use my templates to make those look fancy. Like so. And you can also mark these if you want, just to, that could be the week, and this could be the week there. And then going down to the day, we saw that it was an inside candle. We also had some closer price action entry or potential action attention getting levels that are closer to price action, represented by that inside candle break right there. And then I just use my templates to make those look nice. And so we can say this is the day bullish, and then the day bearish down here. And then we looked on the hour, and we also brought up the range rush reversal. And we'll have this on once price action opens up tomorrow, so that it can plot out the orb as well as the ADR and give us even more trick levels for it to jump through, or tricks for it to do before it gets your loot. So at this point, we said it could do an orb break through the gray zone, either up or down. Also, it could go through ADR, either up or down, and then it can also in combination do a strat combo. It could also do a death cross or golden cross on a fast time frame, like the 5 minute. So currently right now it's in a golden cross. If it could maybe death cross back down to the downside, then that would also be a trick that it can do for more bullish or bearish sentiment. So just wrapping it all up now, I wanted to list all of the potential tricks that it can do to get my attention now that I have these levels. So this is, it has to do at least 2 to 3 tricks before I give it a treat, potentially give it a treat. So let's just make sure. Tricks for attention. Breaking weekly levels is one thing it can do. Breaking daily levels is another thing it can do. Breaking orb strat combo, excuse me, death or golden cross. But I wanted to do at least 2 of these things, 2 to 3 of these things before it gets my strong sentiment for buying either calls or puts in whichever direction that these line up in. Does that make sense? And so another thing that it can also do is it could create a fair value gap, bullish or bearish. I would prefer all of these things to line up in the position of the strongest trend, which would be bullish. So I would prefer it creating a bullish fair value gap, a golden cross. I would prefer a strat combination that's bullish. I would prefer a break of orb to the upside, and I would prefer those weekly and daily levels being broken to the upside, because we have a strong trend. The time frames are strongly bullish. So that's how I go about setting levels, and then before that qualifying the players, and then before that finding the players. Any questions? This is the Strat Teach. Strat Teach. The Strat Teach version 2. So if a death cross is on the 5 minute and the golden cross is on the hour, so I would interpret that as the hour being the more stronger time frame and the death cross happening on the 5 minute being the more faster time frame. So price action moves from fast to strong. So everything is going to happen on the faster time frames and then develop out into the stronger time frames or the slower time frames. So like I often say sometimes on my one-on-ones, I look at the time frames as you can look at them as boxers. And so depending on how you trade, let's say you're trading and you're day trading, you're not really holding things for more than 4 hours. So your 4 hour and your day will be your heavyweight. They're very powerful, but they're not as fast as your lightweight time frame, which will be your 5 minute and your 15 minute. And then your middleweight time frame will be like the 1 hour and the 2 hour, which the middleweight is fast and powerful and has it's like the middle. It has a good combination of both. So depending on how you're playing, you would particularly be looking at that 5 minute as an indication of, holding it for 5 minutes or, around 5 to 15 minutes, because it's only 5 minutes of power, if you can say that. So that signal, the golden cross, is 5 minutes of power. So I'm looking specifically, if I see things lining up on the 5 minute, I see my golden cross on the 5 minute, I see my strat combo on the 5 minute, I see the break of orb, which will be 30 minutes. I see all of those things happening to the bullish side, which would the golden cross would represent is a bullish. I'm sorry, the death cross is what you said on the 5 minute. So all of those things will be bearish, and so I'm looking to hold the potential puts for a very short time because I see those on the shorter time frames. So I'm not taking the 5 minute, because the death cross in this particular example, the death cross will be against the stronger trend. So I wouldn't want to play that for long or too long, because the stronger trend is to the upside. So if I'm seeing those signals on the faster trend, then I'm only looking for a scalp until those trends or those signals develop on the stronger and more powerful time frames as the day goes by and the data comes in. So in particular, if this shop does that death cross on the 5 minute, because it's already doing the golden cross, if it does the death cross on the 5 minute, then I'm also looking forward to break those potential levels also to give me more confirmation of the bear, and then particularly take a scalp that can turn into maybe a swing if things keep dropping and going and the trend starts changing from the hour to the 4 hour and all of this stuff goes red. Then there's more confluence and more confirmation that the trend can be changing from fast to strong to the downside. But it will start out as a scalp and with a very tight stop loss, because I'm going against the trend, the stronger trend. And so something like that you will probably, or I would probably play, if it's a scalp, I will play it to the target points that the range reversal already gives you. So I will play it to right here and potentially the next target point. Any more questions? Questions? Do you have any questions? Well, yeah, just like time frame continuity with the EMA crosses, it's better to see them on multiple time frames in the same direction. It's just a higher probability. That's why you always want to play with the trend. The trend is your friend, and no matter if you're seeing the trend in the version of time frame continuity or via EMAs, you want those to align for more confidence in the trade. You don't want to be, going against the trend for too long, if that at all. The trend is your friend. Time is your friend. The Greeks need to be your friends. The trend is your friend. Time is your friend. And you want the Greeks on your side. The trend is your friend. Time is your friend. And you always want to be friendly to the Greeks. Any more questions? Now, those three things are important because, we have market makers against us who we're trading against. Market makers and their supercomputers that they've used historical data, and they use all types of resources, everything at their disposal to make sure that they take our money. So that includes manipulating the news, manipulating the stocks, manipulating your mind frame and your psychology, because they've done research and development and research on all of this stuff in order to stay for the game to stay favorable to them. So they put in the money and the work to know exactly what ticks us off, what'll shake us out of the positions, and they implement that every day. So we have to have as many friends as possible and things on our side when we're fighting these market makers. I don't have an indicator for MVWAP, but I think he does. I'm not sure if he could come off and tell you about it, but I don't specifically use MVWAP. But the Sannin Cross Clouds Plus Ultra indicator does have a VWAP on there. It doesn't have the MVWAP, but it does have the VWAP. And you can put that on there by just going to the styles, and the VWAP will show up right here. You can change the color and whatnot. Any other questions? The red and yellow clouds, those are the EMA, the Santa Cross clouds. So the yellow is an indication of a golden cross, and the red is an indication of a death cross. So if I put the labels on so you can see, it'll mark where those are. There's your golden cross. There's your death cross. And so I like to see those on a fast and powerful time frame. So for example, like the hour, you can see, okay, it does a golden cross here, and then for several hours the price uptrends. Does a slight death cross back into a golden cross, and the trends for several hours. Death cross is happening now on the hour, and it's been trending down for several hours. Fast and powerful time frame of the day. Does a golden cross all the way back here on November 2nd, and price has been going up ever since then until now, December 21st. So I'm not saying that these are dead on accurate, but there's something else that you can use to, find confluence for the trend and the price direction. And that's why I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Any more questions? No. What I wanted to do is I wanted to do at least 2 to 3 of these tricks before I enter. So I wanted to either break those daily levels. I wanted to do a strat combination on the 5 to 15 minute. I wanted to do a death or a golden cross, or I wanted to do a fair value gap that's bullish or bearish, or a combination of all of those things. So most likely it'll probably be hitting orb or the daily levels at the same time. It'll be doing a strat combination, and most likely it might open up doing, if it gaps up or gaps down, it'll definitely do a fair value gap, and as well as a death cross or a golden cross. The ADR is important because it can act as support and resistance. But if it does break through that, that can also be a trick that it can do. So for example, this is Carvana, and this is backtesting. So this is bar replay, where you can backtest these types of things. So this is Carvana back in January 11th, 2023. So this is several months ago. And let's just go through this. This is the end of the day, Wednesday 11th. And so for example, we're on the 5 minute. And like I said, I wanted to do a combination of some of those tricks before I give it a treat. So just going forward to the next day, we see the golden cross. That's one trick, but let's just keep playing it out. This is the first 5 minutes of January 12th happening right now. And as we go forward again, we should start to see the range reversal develop the orb, which is the gray. So now we have the first 10 minutes. We have that golden cross. Here's the first 15 minutes. We got a 212 to the downside, but it's in opposite direction of the golden cross. I just did that so we can get the trend. So the trend is to the upside. The time frames are more bullish, but on the short term we have a strat combination to the downside with a golden cross to the upside. Keep playing it out. Another 5 minutes. Has another down candle. And so a rule of thumb could be that you're waiting for the first 30 minutes for the orb to develop and see what has happened within that first 30 minutes. So that would be 6 candles on the 5 minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And as you can see, this is already broken through the ADR to the downside, which is here, this green zone right there in the background. Well, orb is just, it's a high probability. It's a high probability type of thing. But if orb is at, or you're running into orb being at like a high, then you wanted to do several tricks. You don't want it to just break orb. You want it to break orb and break strongly through the high. Break, hold, close, and potentially retest the high. So you're not necessarily just using orb, you're using the orb as the first attention getting and then breaking and holding through the high for the next. For example, this orange dotted line here is the high of the previous day on Carvana. So I wouldn't just get in once it breaks through this gray area up here. I will wait for it to confirm and hold above the orange level. And if it doesn't, then you're just choosing another player to play with that does perform to your standard, that does qualify and does do the tricks. You want it to do the tricks before you give it the treat. You don't just offer up the treat for doing one trick. These things have to perform in order to get your dollars. Your hard-earned money, they has to perform. You don't want to just be giving your money to anything that just does, one little trick for you, especially if the trick is something simple. You want it to do several tricks. Yeah. Or doing the fair value gap to the upside, or doing the golden cross to the upside also. Doing a strat combination also. It's a combination of those things. I use the 5 and the 8. The 5 and the 8 is quick and fast for me. Yahoo Finance did some research and they said that the most profitable are the 14 and the 48. And so the Sannin Cross Clouds Plus Ultra, it comes with a second set of EMAs, or actually a four sets of additional EMAs that you can use. And there you go. It's the 13 and the 48. That's the first one, because those are the most profitable. So I also have a option for you to see those on there, as well as the Sannin Clouds. And you can also use these, as well as the 100 and the 200. But I use the 5 and the 8. The most profitable, according to Yahoo Finance and backtesting over 100 years of data, is the 13 and the 48. Well, triggering the daily most likely will be breaking the high of the previous day, if it's a strat. But you always want to compare it to your swing highs and your highs and your lows, because those can act as resistance and support. So that's why you want to see strong breaks above there, strong candles above there. You don't want to see it wicking or making wicks from that level. You want to see strong, thick, no wick bars breaking those levels. And then you want to see the next bar holding above those levels. Patience. You want to have patience. You want to have patience so that you can stay around in the game. And you want these trades to come to you. You don't want to chase these trades. You are the owner. You are the owner of the team of stocks that you look at. And these stocks have to qualify in order to be on your team. They have to do the tricks. They have to go through the combine and put up amazing results. They have to be able to jump this high, run this fast, break this level, do this combination before you give it your money. Your money is, you work hard for your money. You don't just throw it away on a stock that is breaking orb, or it has to do more than that. We have to be stingy or sedity or what do you call it? Uh, you have to be very stingy with your money, and you only want to give it to the stocks that qualify and do to your standard. So you have to have standards, and those trick levels that I put on the other chart there, those are my standards. It has to do that. So for example, this is trying to break orb to the downside, and look at that. It uses the bottom of orb as resistance, and now it's going back up. And so we wait. It just did another golden cross to the upside, and now it has a potential inside to break. So look, now it's done a golden cross, and it's done a strat combination to the upside. Now we would be potentially getting in right here for calls. It's done 2 tricks. And so now the next trick could be potentially breaking over to the upside, and what happens here. So at this point, if I was to get in right here, I would also set my stop loss maybe down here. Tight stop loss. Manage your account level down there, or potentially we're looking at 5 minutes. So yeah, this is good right there at the bottom of the orb. So I'm using the bottom of the orb as a potential, hey, you might want to reassess this position or take a loss. So that's what price does. Look at that. There you go. First take profit. I'll be taking profit right there. Does everybody understand what just happened? It did those 2 tricks in the direction of the time frame, the strongest trend, and then I got in once it did that strat combination 212 right here. Price went down, then created an order block, and proceeded to go all the way up to the first target point of the range rush reversal. And this was just random. I didn't have this set up at all, but this just goes to show you have some tricks and a process, and it could work out. And if it doesn't, you also have so you stop the bleeding as quick as you can. I had no idea that this was going to work out this way. A golden cross is when the fast EMA crosses above the slower EMA. So in this particular setup, the 5 EMA is crossing above the 8 EMA, and that's a sign of bullish trend. Any questions on that, or what we just, because I just went through that live. We had the golden cross as well as this strat combination right here. This 2, 1, 2. Got in at the end of this candle, or whenever this candle breaks the high of this inside. Price went down a little bit, and then it went all the way up to our first take profit of the indicated by the range rush reversal here. And it's as simple as that sometimes. As long as you have a process, you got a trading plan or a course of action for these things to do. And then you have a course of action if things go against you also. And so that's what I've been doing, that's why I had this already set up, is because I've been backtesting, okay? And that's why it was already set up on the 5 minute, just like we boiled down with the other, with Shopify. I have been backtesting, these stocks qualifying and doing the tricks that I want and what those results lead to. Yes, the pressure is crazy. That's why it's important to do back testing like this here, so that you can develop the courage under pressure. Of course, if they just threw you into a NBA game and told you to take the last shot, of course you're gonna be have all of the pressure on you and the stress. But if you've been practicing with the team for years, and you've been working on that shot 100 times a day, then you'll have less pressure, and that's where the back testing comes in, so that you get used to that pressure. You don't want to be practicing live in the game. So that's what times like this after hours is for. It's for practice. So that when you get live, all of that stress is less. You know what to do with it. I know what to do, and I know the course of action that these things have to do in order to have the highest probability and the highest probability of working out in my favor. Yes, I just used the EMA crossover intraday with the example I just went through. This is on the 5 minute, happening live now, or live January 12th. I used the indicator on the 5 minute. We saw the golden cross. This golden cross here. This golden cross here, and then we saw the strat combination, and then we entered at this level here. We entered on this candle. Price went down, and then price shot up to the first target point. If I'm understanding your question correctly, do you use the same EMA? Excuse me. Do you use the same EMA crossovers? And yes. So I use the 5 and the 8 no matter what time frame. He said after I'm Jordan. But yeah, that's why you see the confidence in the Jordan and the Kobe and the Steph Curry, is because they practice on that shot for hours upon hours and upon hours. I think it was a Kobe quote where he was like, yeah, I'm not passing you the ball because I show up to practice before you and I leave practice after you. So why would I be confident in passing you the ball when I can just take the shot? I know I'm going to make it. I don't know if you're going to make it. You have to develop that confidence, have that same mindset when it comes to the trading. You got to practice so that you can develop the confidence in what you see in the price action and the steps that you take in order to get gains from off of that price action. Muscle memory. Yes, that's exactly what it is. All right. So again, this is being recorded, hopefully successfully. So this will be available to you as soon as possible. I believe you're referring to SMAs. I'm using the EMAs, exponential moving averages, not SMAs. And again, if you want access to this indicator, if the 50% level is within range of the levels that I'm watching, like right now, the 50% is here. If we just hide this so you can see it, the 50% is this solid orange level. So that could be also another trick. You want as many tricks that can possibly do. So if it was to break orb and also stay below this 50% level, that would be, two tricks. If it could break and stay below this low of the previous week, which is represented by this blue dotted line, that'll be another trick. And it would also be holding below this Broadening formation support also, which would be another trick. But if it's in range of, the price action that I'm looking at, then yeah, if this if this 50% was way out or further up where I can't really see it, then it wouldn't necessarily be a factor in me getting an entry factor. But it could potentially act as a level of significance. So all of those 50% openings, closes, those can all be significant levels depending on the trend and what price action is doing. So I would watch price action right here to break below this, because this could potentially act as support, this 50% level in particular here on Carvana, as it actually did right here. It acted as support and the price went up from there. Yes, that's what the Sannin clouds are based off, the 5 and the 8 EMA. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Hopefully I was able to help. We went through the watch list, creating the watch list, qualifying the watch list, setting levels based upon stocks on the watch list, finding contracts based off of which contracts had good ADR, which good contracts had good prices, and which contracts had good Greeks. And then we actually went through and used the levels that we set in combination with the tricks to potentially demonstrate how we could find winning plays. All right, so I'll let you guys, hopefully we're taking notes, and I'll try to have this video to you as soon as possible so you can use it for your watch list creation in the immediate future. But other than that, you guys have a nice rest of your evening and a profitable tomorrow, and if I don't see you or hear from you, you have happy holidays also. Please make sure you do all of those things. Have a profitable tomorrow and a happy holidays. Got to. All right, y'all. Take it easy.